An out-of-state youth football team competed in a national tournament here in the Valley today despite having all of their equipment stolen. Well, this time of year, it's not unusual to hear about some great discounts out there. 20% off, 2 for 1. But when was the last time you heard about something absolutely free? Here's my impression. I can tell you it is definitely louder than the original show. The flames shoot much higher into the air, and I think people are going to want to come out and see it in person at least once, if not more than once. Jim, we'll send it back to you. Oh, there it goes. If you've seen the commercials, you know the saying, "We've got you covered." A scene out of a movie. That's how fire crews are describing today's vicious bee attack. A local man is in the hospital after being stung nearly 1,000 times. For example, a lot of taggers like to hide behind cardboard boxes. They provide just the right amount of cover for taggers to get in and do their dirty work and then move on quickly undetected. Well, that's right, Jim, and the first phase of this project includes the area of Lake Mead all the way up to Cary. We're at Lake Mead here, of course, and you can see some of the construction barriers have already been erected out here. A lot of the homes look like this one that you see behind me. You can see it's boarded up, it's been emptied out. Is it a false hope, or is the economy actually on a road to recovery? News 3's Anita Roman is live at Town Square, Las Vegas for us tonight. And Anita, some experts and a lot of consumers are pretty optimistic that things are turning around. They're calling it a war of the cars, new versus used. Automakers are pulling out all the stops to convince you to buy a new car. Lance Burton is disappearing from the Monte Carlo Hotel and Casino, but this time it's not an illusion. Well, Jim, it was a peaceful rally out here. I did witness one minor verbal exchange with an Obama supporter out here on the sidewalk in front of Caesar's Palace. Other than that, though, just a large crowd essentially all chanting the same thing, that it's time for Harry Reid to step down.
Reject Reid! Reject Reid!
They dubbed it the Vegas Means Business Rally. More than 100 demonstrators opposing the idea of another term for Senator Harry Reid.
We're losing our freedom. We're losing any self-respect.
And many also hoping for an apology from President Obama.
Obama, apologize to us!
Comments he made back in February, they say, cost locals a lot of business.
I'm protesting what Obama said about not coming to Las Vegas. I think that was terrible.
Think it hurt the local economy?
I think, you know how many people canceled.
Some of the signs were mean-spirited, calling Obama a destroyer and Reid a traitor. A recent poll did show about half of Nevada voters have an unfavorable view of Reid. And in this crowd, many agree it's time for him to go.
I think he's been in long enough. Let some young blood come in. He hasn't done much to help the economy.
There's no telling if these chants were heard by either Reid or the president, but demonstrators vow to continue to fight for change, and not the kind of change Obama has talked about. And as Steve Krupe reported just a moment ago, there was no apology from the president for the comments he made back in February. So a lot of the demonstrators out here today probably a little disappointed, but probably not surprised. They're a little young now, but as soon as Jenny Kappas' kids are old enough for cell phones, she says she'll absolutely add a security feature.
I want to know right away if they're moving out of the area that we think is reasonable.
GPS tracking services are the newest craze with cell phone users. The technology is already built into current phones. All you have to do is add the application from your carrier. This is Google's version called Latitude, but all essentially work the same. The technology is actually kind of spooky. For example, if someone wanted to track me here at UNLV, they could pinpoint my exact location on a map. Or if I wanted to track my friends, no problem. And you can use your cell phone, or you can do it all from your home computer.
I think you're going to see a number of location-based security type services.
Cliff Diamond owns the Cellular Center on Flamingo. He says depending on which phone you have, the security features can be pretty elaborate.
And then you can choose to publish or not publish your position at any given time, or publish yourself in regular intervals, whether that be 15 minutes to every few hours or once a day.
He says GPS tracking is also popular with teens who use it for social networking. But for moms like Jenny, it's more than a new piece of technology.
They said that they're going somewhere, and that's where they actually went.
It's also peace of mind. Gerard Ramalho, News 3. Well, Jim, a lot of what we hear about black widows is myth, but some of it is true. They are cannibals, for instance, meaning they will eat their own. They do have a poisonous venom that can make you sick. It can even be fatal in some cases for children. But what some might not know is that there are probably several living in every single yard here in the valley.
Let's see, we've got a whole big cluster of them coming up here.
Joel Bignell has never been much of a collector, or for that matter, a hunter. But this weekend, all of that changed.
There's another one right there.
What started out as simple curiosity, some might now say is just downright crazy.
I first had one in my garage about a month ago, but I didn't know what it was.
But then he noticed the signature red hourglass on the creature's belly. Of course, it was a black widow. It started with just one, but you can see Joel has a pretty good collection going now, and he says there are plenty more where these came from. Fact is, they're not that difficult to find.
They're probably pretty much in every yard in Las Vegas.
Dr. Raymond Samore, a wildlife biologist with the Springs Preserve, says they come out when there's lots of food to eat, i.e. crickets and cockroaches.
They'll catch a prey, they'll bite into it, and then they basically regurgitate the venom into the body, which liquefies the whole inside of the body, and then they suck it back up.
Their bite is also painful to humans, and in some cases can even be life-threatening to children and the elderly. Joel kills his before he collects them. Why, you ask?
I really didn't want them alive right here in my walkway, and they make good souvenirs.
He says he's even found people willing to pay $5 for the dead bugs on eBay. And who knows, maybe there's even a black market for black widows.